Welcome back, everybody. 17 minutes past the hour on your Thursday, and ousted dictator Nicolas Maduro will be back inside a New York City courtroom later this morning in an effort to get the Venezuelan government to front his attorney's fees. Maduro is facing narco-terrorism and drug trafficking charges here in the States, where the Trump administration has blocked Venezuela from funding his trial. Maduro's attorneys now want that judge to intervene, who's previously ruled against the president in other cases. Judge Hellerstein is one of the longest-sitting federal judges sitting on that bench at 92 years old. And joining me now is former U.S. District Judge from the Southern District of New York, Shira Scheindlin. Judge, welcome back to the show, ma'am. Thank you.
Nice to be here.
How extraordinary is this? The White House essentially cutting off Maduro's ability to fund his own defense.
Well, it's an unusual situation all around where the defendant says the government of the country that I used to lead has agreed to fund my defense. But because it's a sanctioned country, you have to apply for a license from the Office of Foreign Asset Control for that money. And first they said yes, and 3 hours later they said no. And then they said, well, we'll pay for the wife. And then as soon as the husband made a motion saying he was entitled to be funded, they denied the wife's request. So now
a lot of whiplash back and forth.
Yes, well, it seemed to be retribution, but now they say they're not going to provide funding for either Maduro or his wife, the First Lady, former First Lady of Venezuela. Now, lawyers are saying if it's not funded, we need to withdraw. We can't go forward. And so the United States citizens will be paying for the defense. Essentially, we'll have to appoint counsel, and it'll be a burden on the American economy to have to fund this defense, which will be expensive over the long haul.
Yeah, because I was reading even just the pretrial hearings alone could take years before this even reaches trial. You've known Judge Hellerstein for 50 years. You've served on the bench with him. How do you expect him to rule on this today?
I don't know that he'll rule from the bench today. He may. He does have a sort of practice of ruling from the bench when he can, but it's a serious question here, and I don't know whether he'll want to take it under advisement and make a written opinion, because the lawyers are saying this denies the defendants their Sixth Amendment right to counsel. I mean, counsel of their choice. And the lawyers are saying if you ever get a conviction, it's going to get overturned, because he was denied his right to counsel, and he had that right. And there another interesting issue today, which is the government's request for a protective order on the materials that it's producing to the defense. And it's saying you can share most of those with your client, but you can't share them with any of the defendants who haven't yet been arrested and who are still in Venezuela, because that would be a risk to the people in Venezuela. They may threaten witnesses, they may attack families. So that's another interesting issue that he's going to hear today, the protective order question.
Yeah, that is fascinating. The other thing I was thinking about, Judge, tell me if I'm crazy here. Is there any world in which Maduro would cut a deal? And if so, what would the government even want from him? Cooperation on cartel networks, information on Venezuela's oil infrastructure? Is there any world where that's a possibility?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I can't begin to predict that. I doubt it, frankly, personally, because I think it would put at risk a lot of people who are very closely connected to Maduro and his family. I don't see him doing that. But you never know who might make a deal. But, you know, that would take counsel. And here's the problem. By not letting counsel of his choice appear with him, who's he going to trust? Somebody the government appoints to represent him? So I can't see a negotiated deal anytime in the near future.
Last question to you. You know, we mentioned Judge Hellerstein's age right off the top. He's 92. You have come forward before and said every judge has to self-assess whether it's right to stay on the case, and you trust he's going to make the right decision. Do you think he stays on this one or not?
Again, this case probably won't get to trial, in my view, I'm guessing, for up to 2 years. At that time, he would be 94. That's not a young age. But again, everybody handles age differently. And I trust this judge to know whether he has the ability to try this case, which will be a lengthy and complex trial. So again, I can't predict, but I think he'll make the right decision.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.